Welcome to the August 24th, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Fakafon.
Oh, man.
Welcome back.
I didn't remember...
And this time I'm actually here.
I didn't remember adding you to the Skype chat. This is creepy.
I just, I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
It's the ghost of Fakafon.
Oh.
He's so spooky.
Oh my goodness, I thought it was a little early for Halloween.
Go.
Go.
Boo.
Go. Zoinks!
Fakafon.
Yeah.
Ghost!
I was talking about this with my wife the other day. Wouldn't it be just weird if there were ghosts? Like I'm obviously not a believer. So like everything that ever died ever, just like hanging out, like it would be so dense.
It'd be crowded like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's why there's been like multiple horror stories where the concept is like hell is too full to support all the souls that are in it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so like you can't even move anywhere. You can't haunt anything. It's like, get out of my way. Like a lot of you are naked. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Hell should get a good GoFundMe to help them expand. We need some money to get buy more territory.
Yeah.
They can't afford any infrastructure because they're ghosts.
We need Phobos.
We need better taxes. We need to tax the mortal plane.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of bad financial decisions, I'll let you take this one off the top, Lotus, because you brought it up, but I have something to say about it, too.
Yeah, so we may have heard of the website OnlyFans, which...
We may have.
It's kind of funny because I've only ever heard of it as places where people go on cam and look sexy and get donations.
Yep.
But I had heard that
it
recently was going to quash all that. But I was like, well, what's left? I genuinely did not know that it existed for other purposes.
Yeah, so I think they kind of want to rebrand it as a Patreon-like service, but the entire service made its money and is known for its explicit content.
Yeah, and the thing about this is when the story first came out, people thought that it was like a Tumblr decision where they're like, well, you're an idiot,
Exactly.
You're sabotaging your own website, but that's not really what's happening. They're being pressured by MasterCard and like just religious groups that would never go to the site anyway and just want to bitch about it. So, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. You're going to obey MasterCard.
Why does MasterCard give a shit?
I
think they might be being
idea.
pressured. What was it, Fakafon?
By who?
No, I was saying I have no idea why suddenly bank companies have these weird moral obligations toward this kind of thing where they've never demonstrated any interest in that in the past.
Well, unless they're being
cartels.
pressured. Well, unless they're being pressured by some investors or something. But whatever the case is, OnlyFans is not intentionally screwing itself over. It's effectively being pressured to do that. So this is generally a bad time for what you see all over Twitter, sex workers. Obviously, we're not really having sex via the internet. It's not a thing.
No, but they are selling
the idea,
an aspect of it. They are selling an aspect of it, and most people on there, or at least the vocal ones, seem okay with being lumped in as such. So,
yeah, I mean, it's in at the very least an overlap, but this is just yet another example of how sex workers have been treated like shit since day one. God forbid they make money in a way that does not go to some kind of employer. So,
here's the thing: a lot of young women, especially, are taking control of this kind of thing because the adult industry is mainly run by men exploiting women. It was a way for them to do right by themselves and be their own bosses about it, and not
be
be
safer
pressured by
about
anybody.
it as well.
Yeah, it honestly kind of makes me think of just websites like YouTube or Twitch or whatever. You don't have to get into Hollywood to get into show business anymore. If you get a big enough audience, I'll do it. I'll do it entirely on my own. But the good news is, though, now that it's been a little bit of time, because this was not obvious at first, people are aware that OnlyFans is not just making a stupid decision, it's being pressured by assholes. So now the pressure, like, there's coming to be like a backlash at them. Yeah. So we'll see if they fold on this like embarrassing decision.
Well, there's already some backpedaling from like a few people, so you know.
Yeah, because you don't want to look like the asshole. Like, oh, I didn't think it would come back to me. So yeah, maybe that'll get people to do something or undo something.
It's kind of weird. Like it's kind of like I discussed before the podcast started about like people living in a bubble and having like no idea like what they're doing or like what kind of people they're gonna like their decisions are gonna affect.
Yeah.
Because like you're going after a website where like people, like you said, were doing their own business, doing it like in a safer environment, either from their home or like with a team they
this
trust.
is a way to combat trafficking and things like that. These the people that are taking advantage of this are their own bosses. Like they don't need to answer to anybody for funding or
at least the majority
or exposure.
At the very least, the majority of them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them work. They're really hard workers. They put out a lot of content. And they run their own schedule and all that other stuff, and buy their own, equipment and all that other stuff. I mean, people forget you have to, have good lighting and a set for this stuff.
It's very easy just to not even think about stuff like
production
that.
Production value. Yeah. I mean, they have to have, like, a good camera so they look good. I mean, they have to have makeup so they look good. I mean, like...
Properly placed and angled the camera, which sounds obvious, but, like, try doing that all the time. Like, you have to think about how to establish that.
That's true.
Not only that, but they also have to take care of themselves. They have to work out. So, like,
eat well,
exactly. So, I mean,
and it's also it's also a creative process, because then you also need to come up with like new ideas. Sometimes you're like, okay, what do I do now?
To keep
like
people
I can't just
hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, like, I thought it was actually like I'm not a person who follows this kind of stuff, but I'm all for people being having the freedom for it. You know what I mean? Like, and like. This is another like misogyny trying to get back what it is losing its grip on.
Well, that's the thing. It was never about the religion. Just like because if you cared about your own religion, then you'd follow it, and that would be the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anything, this kind of work should be more and more legitimized and not seen as a shameful thing, and because it provides something that people want and need. Emotionally, some people need this kind of stuff. So, and some people just like it. So who cares? It's not, it's hurting less and less people by doing stuff like this. Like they're not being taken advantage of or less. So it's stupid. I don't know. It's just another way to stick it to make people feel shameful about themselves and things like that. I just hate that. And what are they going to do? They have scant few other like payment options or networks that allow for this kind of thing, because they keep shutting them down. You know what I mean? Like it's stupid. You shove them off to the corner. Do we want it to be back in the 70s? Where you have to wear a trench coat and go into an alley? Like to get your fix. I mean, like, come on.
Oh gosh.
Like, this is stupid. People shouldn't be embarrassed of supporting it and performing in it. Like this is like
I think it's been long enough where people have realized that this is a thing, and it's more popular than may initially have been presented.
It's bringing in billions of dollars for this company.
I mean, heck, I've even like drawn a few like pornographic images myself. So
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like people are thirsty, man. Give them what they crave. And like, come on, especially if it's Cybermen. I have to say, please.
That was really fun to draw, by the way.
The more explicit the Cybermen are, the funnier it is, and thank God.
Sayings just grow those.
The broccoli people. Well, I mean, like, they're from the planet Vegeta, right? Like, so, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows this, but like Fakafon and I came up with a fantastic idea to have the reason why Yamcha really got killed is stripping Cybermen.
It was like such a really fun idea too.
Just surrounded and embarrassed.
Link in the description below.
But anyway, moving on from that, something really stupid.
Again.
Yeah, but this is. I can only think that he is either like really not well or just really wants attention for the last couple things that he's done. I think it's an attention thing because I can't think he's this ill, but maybe he is. I don't know. But Lotus, you can go ahead and tell this one. You brought it up.
Yeah, Soulja Boy had come out and said that he had purchased the company Atari, and apparently, like, I think he was gonna like sell the company back to
for
Atari
$150 million.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. And then like Atari, like a few days later, tweeted out like, as desirable as the position of CEO of Atari is, I'm afraid that belongs to real CEO's name, like Wayne or something. So they rolled with it, but like, what the fuck? And like all the news articles that posted that Soulja Boy had bought Atari were like, we're waiting for Atari
maybe he bought,
for comments.
Like, 1 share of stock.
Yeah, we're waiting for
maybe
like.
He bought 1 share of stock and
Yeah,
proclaimed it. Maybe he was trying to be funny. I don't, like he. I mean, like, ever since that Soulja Boy console thing.
Really,
I
was gonna mention.
Yeah.
Like his last venture into the video game industry was not exactly successful.
Let me sell this pirate console with like actual other people's IP on it, just straight up pirated.
Yeah, I can't believe. Was there ever a lawsuit over that?
I mean,
I have no idea.
It has to have been some kind of settlement or something because he was literally selling like Pokemon ROMs and shit.
Yeah, not like I know that there are bootleg consoles that do this shit, but like
no, but they're
Nintendo
not high profile.
And the Pokemon Company are like excruciatingly protective of their stuff.
Yeah, they're not high profile, and a lot of them are really janky, and they kind of disappear like overnight all the time. So like, it's not like it's something you could buy at Walmart or very easily. You can find it on the side of in Chinatown, side of the road on Chinatown, but you might not be able to find it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So this was a big surprise. They remade the original Quake.
Yeah, Night Dive is at it again. They brought it back.
Yeah, and not even like a remake. It's just straight up like runs really freaking well, like even better than it originally did, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, that's Night Dive's MO. They take the game, clean up the graphics, give it back to you on platforms that you can actually play it on.
Yeah, in the case of things like Turok, I think like or Quake 64, they made them better than even their original form, which is like what you could hope for.
Yeah, like Shadow Man, they restored cut content, like they do stuff like that, but it's not a full on remake. They re-release and clean up.
Yeah, and Modern Vintage Gamer actually programmed the emulation for this, or the modernization of it, whatever it is. And the only game that I know of that he did previously was the Shantae, like the original Shantae for Game Boy Color. Was the ports of that was done by him. So, but I am excited because I've never really played all the way through Quake, and if I have played a decent amount of Quake, it was Quake 2, which is probably the more popular one, I would say, these days.
That's also the one like me and my friends used to play the most.
Yeah. But this one has gotten less attention, so I'm willing to go back and play it. But yeah, this is basically the first like major 3D first-person shooter, right? Isn't that what most people say?
Yeah, like actual 3D and not the illusion of 3D like Doom.
Yeah, like Doom or
Yeah, 3D accelerated or whatever. So I'm excited for it. I mean, like I don't think the original Quake has anything to do with the rest of the series, but which is kind of funny because Quake 2 and Quake 4 are related, I think.
How does Wedding Quake play into the lore?
Wedding Quake. Do you know what Wedding Quake is, Fakafon?
I don't.
It's a mini game in a game called Jazz Punk. It's just like a joke where your weapons are wedding themed, like a champagne bottle that shoots the cap off or the cork off.
I like that.
Yeah, it's and it says "Death to us part."
Yeah, till death to us part. It's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, you're actually playing basically like a mini version of Quake 3, but
with like the bouncy platforms that shoot you across the level.
Oh yeah, and you're fighting bots, and it's like pretty damn convincing. Like I can't believe they put in that much effort.
Yeah, the bots are like the bots could kill you.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, Quake is I think the last game that John Romero worked on before he moved on.
What about Daikatana?
To Ion Storm, thank you. Before you interrupted me.
What about
Ion Storm?
What about Daikatana?
No.
Ion Storm actually put out some good games, but it was the non-John Romero games that were good.
Well, yeah, the main Ion Storm thing I remember, which was also Eidos, I think, was like Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think that was a John Romero game.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, I just saw. Is it gonna be like crossplay as well?
Yeah, I think so. Like it and the cool thing about this version of Quake is that they give it to you for free if you already own it on Steam, like they do with a lot of other stuff like that. So it's really cool that like if you already own it on Steam, here you go.
Nice.
You just got the upgraded version that plays really freaking well. So I'm excited. The most Quake that I ever played, actually, now that I think back at it, was the Dreamcast version of Quake 3 when that came out, because that was a lot of fun. That was like one of the, like after GoldenEye, that was the first person shooter that me and my friends played because it was a 4-player game and it ran really freaking well even on a 4-player screen. That was just a lot of fun. A lot of people played that on the Dreamcast Online service too, but yeah, I'm willing to go back and take a look. I mean, I'm sure it's really good. I mean, all those games are from back in the day are a lot of fun and good to go back to. So, next one is yours, Lotus, I believe.
Yeah, there's a couple things I wanted to get into. Pardon me. A couple things I wanted to get into real quick. One of them is Mortal Shell, the small-scale Souls-like made by a small team for the PS4, and there's now a PS5 version, and I believe it's on PC as well. Probably also on the Xbox, wouldn't be surprised. But it's been out for like a year or two now, but just recently it got an entire DLC, which was free within the first 5 days it was released. So I think it costs now, because it came out on Monday, I believe, of last week. But it's a whole roguelite situation, where you choose the character you want to play as and the weapon you want to start with, and then you just go in there and try gaining... It's called something different in every game, but I'm going to call them souls, like your experience. You're trying to gain souls to go back to the hub and buy stuff to make your next run easier and complete a cycle, whatever that means. I don't know if that's beating the game or what, but just trying to get this degree of progression, and it's a whole different feel of the game, and it's quite exciting. I get the feeling I'm going to be playing it a bunch.
Oh, cool.
And another thing I wanted to mention... Another thing I wanted to mention is Crosscode, an indie game that was funded via Indiegogo years ago, and I've played it. It's utterly brilliant, but there's DLC for it called A New Home. It's like the sort of epilogue scenario for the game. It came out back in February, but it only just hit consoles, so now I have the chance to play it, and I'm super excited about it. So I've been playing it. I'm near the end of what's called the final dungeon in the game, because it's obviously right there in the base game, but NPCs keep saying, "Oh, it's in development." So now it's it's here. So it's it's very exciting. The puzzles are just as tricky as you would imagine, and I'm up to the final boss. I haven't beaten it yet. That thing it's pretty grand. I might put up footage of just that. It's fantastic. So I look forward to beating Crosscode for a second time, because it's an epilogue this time.
I still need to play that, so I'm glad that
very, very good.
The full
It's a pretty beautiful game as well.
It's gorgeous. There's a lot of heart put into it.
That's the one with that pretty cool action system, right? That where you kind of like jump around. Is it?
I don't know what that means.
It's kind of like a slingshotty kind of thing going around, if I remember right. I think you showed it to me way back in the day when it was like in beta phase or something.
I don't even know what you mean by slingshotty. Like, there's nothing like that I'm aware of. I mean, you throw stuff.
For movement, you mean? Like you hang down and then you do like a fast move, I think? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game.
This is a above the character kind of game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I might be misremembering it, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
like,
you're thinking of Ori in the Blind Forest.
Yeah. I mean, you aim and you throw like spheres to trigger objects or to attack enemies with. You could also melee attack, and you utilize 4 elements: fire, ice, shock, and wind, and use those to your advantage to solve puzzles as well.
Shock is not actually electricity. You just like go around shocking the enemies and
you just spook people with a bed
like
sheet with eyeballs cut out.
From Courage the Cowardly Dog, you just have like a very spooky mask and you go ooga booga.
You just say ooga booga.
All right.
And in addition, one other thing that's really cool is that this was a surprise to me. Baiken, the Guilty Gear character, has been confirmed for Samurai Showdown, and Baiken's a great
cool
fit.
Character, by the way.
She's a samurai. She's a great fit. But what surprises me is that I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't believe Guilty Gear has ever guested elsewhere, nor has it had guest characters. Like Samurai Showdown's had. Like Haomaru has shown up in Soul Calibur 6, for example. He's a Samurai Showdown character in another game, but I don't know if Guilty Gear's ever crossed over with anything. Like BlazBlue, there's the cross-tag battle game, but Guilty Gear, I think, has always been in its own universe, and now Baiken is in Samurai Showdown. Again, great fit. She's a perfect character to go in there, but I can't believe it happened.
I like a lot of that. A lot of the big like fighting game franchises play well with each other. Like they don't see each other as like competition. They kind of see each other as like in the same battle together.
Yeah, and like, and cool. Why not? It's more hype for everyone involved.
Yeah, like everybody's playing nice. You know, you have like, you know, Geese in Tekken and stuff like that. That's really
Tekken's
cool.
Tekken's taking everybody. I couldn't believe, like, Akuma is like in the story mode.
Yeah, seriously, it's so cool.
Nuts.
I think a lot of like old Japanese game companies are kind of like that these days. They're like, we've been through the shit. Like, why don't we just like do a lot of cross promotions, like you know, like SNK and Capcom and like you know,
like SNK is like the definitive crossover company, not with other companies necessarily, but with properties. Like that's what King of Fighters is.
Yeah.
But the idea that like Guilty Gear would hit Samurai Showdown, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, and Samurai Shodown's a great game. I know a lot of people complain about the the online or whatever, but I think just playing it is a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, those games are great.
Yeah. All right, moving on from this. You broke this one as well, but this is really funny.
This is something you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something you were talking about before, like a week or two ago, like where Sonny the Hedgehog was confirmed for Monkey Ball. People are thinking, maybe Kiryu should be too. Like, wouldn't it be funny to see Chibi Kiryu? And that's exactly what happens.
Behold, yeah.
Yeah, Kiryu from Yakuza is in Monkey Ball now.
When I actually saw the news, I was like, this can't be real, right? Like, someone's messing with me, but no.
I believed it, because, like, I can buy it. What was funny, though, was that in the comments, people were like, and yet they won't put him in Tekken, but it's like, nah, Kiryu doesn't fight women, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Like the only exception being like Project Cross Zone.
Yeah, that is a bizarre exception, to be honest. Like, I'm surprised they even did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really think that this is going to be the best Monkey Ball ever. Like, it's just like, it's a remake of 1 and 2, which are like the best Monkey Balls, but like just with extra shit in it. So,
yeah, but it's not going to have the GameCube shaped level, and it's not going to have dull bananas. So 0 out of 10.
Yeah, no, fuck off with that. But no, this is what people want out of Monkey Ball. They want goofiness and monkey target, and that's all they want.
Yeah, really. That's what Monkey Ball is. It's just wacky, incredibly brutal fucking gameplay, but still.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding, though.
Yeah. I think it's really awesome. I don't know. I'm just really excited.
You should see speedruns of that game, by the way. The stuff that people pull off is like...
It's crazy.
Unreal.
I think one of my favorite is like they tilt the levels super fast, so you get an extremely high bounce, and then they just like fall towards the end of the level like so precisely. It's crazy.
Yeah, just like nothing but net through the goal.
Yeah, I had people in my dorm room fighting over who got to be Gon like all the time.
What, the big guy?
It was one of those games that like had crossover appeal. It wasn't just like, you know, like the nerds that really liked this game. It was like everybody who had a GameCube like loved playing those games.
Yeah,
it was like one of those few games where it's just like I play some Mario games and maybe the occasional Zelda game. Oh yeah, and I had Monkey Ball. Like it wasn't just like a hardcore gamer thing. It was a mainstream thing. These Monkey Ball games. So. And the mini games are really, really freaking good. I mean, even the pool the pool game is like a good game of pool. Like it's actually like a lot of fun to play. Like, so I really recommend this new one coming out, because it's going to be really good if they get the physics right, of course, and all that stuff. But it'll be good. So have you guys been following the Watermelon Games drama?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. They're the people who made Paprium. I actually went to their website a couple days ago, but it just seemed normal, except that Paprium stuff was sold out, but like I didn't see any update or anything.
So we talked about this last week, but like Terra Onion came out and said that like, hey, like we would be more than willing to. We have the technology to put DRM'd, like, you know, key coded digital games, digital versions of old games. So like if somebody who made a current Genesis game wanted to sell the ROM, you know, coded to a specific user, we can make that happen. You know, like, so you have to download it through like a portal or something to get it on your thing, or like hard coded to a specific ROM cart. That's fine, but like at least, you know, you could distribute it digitally. And they were like, please help us get some traction here with Watermelon and see like if they could do it. And then like Watermelon came out of the fucking woodwork. They never talked to or respond to anybody because they're awful at like customer service.
Yeah, the last time I saw anything from them was when they were flipping out about how they had gotten financially screwed, so they were on Twitter for a little bit, but yeah, they don't talk much.
They came out of the fucking woodwork basically to trash their customers, like in that thread, and talk about, like, people were like, I really wish I could just play the fucking game, because like they haven't gotten their copy that they paid for like 5 years ago or whatever, and they refuse to answer like emails, and they're like, well, you could blame all the other idiots in our email like preventing us from getting to you. And they're like, no, we don't. Like, you're the idiots. You comb through your comb through your own bullshit. Like like you know, like, there are legitimate customer concerns in your mailbox. You have to answer them. Like what the fuck is your problem?
That's how Watermelon Games is, though. They're like, just like, these idiots are causing us trouble. It's like, tell us what the fuck you're actually talking about. Like, who are the people? What is the trouble? That they always speak in like these vague, nebulous terms, and then don't actually accomplish anything.
Yeah, no, it's just really funny. And here's one from them from what 4 days ago. Scummy like PayPal maybe, at PayPal maybe, sucking egg problem, let us know, thanks. Like, what are you even fucking talking about?
Well,
like,
yeah, that's like when they first got screwed by like whatever company they were dealing with out of a lot of money, and they're like, this is low custory, spread the hashtag low custory with no context, no one knows what the fuck we're even talking about. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, and they're coming out of the woodwork trashing PayPal, so they're saying that nobody's getting their game because they haven't been paid by PayPal. It's because you didn't provide any customer service, so people like opened up PayPal cases about you because it seemed like you stole everybody's money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I can believe that they got screwed out of a bunch of money from one of the people they worked with, but like when everyone's against you, maybe it's you.
Well, yeah, maybe it's because you didn't respond to anybody, like, asking, hey, where the fuck is my game? Is this game ever gonna fucking come out?
I remember when the game first came out, like, I got my copy, but I remember seeing people even then, like, where's my copy? Like, and I don't know if that ever got resolved or not. Guess it didn't.
Yeah, they keep responding to their customers complaining about their game, and they just keep trashing PayPal. It's just like, you're not getting it because PayPal isn't paying us. It's just like... Like, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I got my copy of the game, and I'm happy I did, but Jesus Christ, like...
This sounds like a very unstable company to work with, and we just, like, lucked out this time.
Yeah.
Don't know if I would try that again.
I could probably sell it on the secondary market for $1,000 at this point, but, like...
It was definitely... I didn't see sold listings, but I definitely saw a bunch of people trying to sell it for, like, $500 a few weeks after it came out.
Yeah, and I was one of the very few people who got, like, the joystick that went with it. And
yeah, I didn't bother.
I thought my money was, like, completely gone, but I think that joystick is going to be worth something because, Jesus Christ, how many people have that?
Yeah, that was expensive and probably far less produced than even Paprium, which... I can't imagine how many copies of that were produced.
And it's probably the best joystick for the Genesis. Like, it's made with, like, really good parts. It lights up and it interacts with the game. Like, it's cool, but, like, Jesus Christ, it's overproduced just like everything else.
Yep.
That's
like,
so weird. So they made really good products, but they had a really, really bad system, basically?
Well, they also
their customer service is atrocious.
Yeah, it's probably the worst I've ever seen. Honestly, I can't like.
I mean, we've heard horror stories about people who don't respond to anybody, and then did they make off with their money? But when these people finally actually come out and say something, they just complain about you.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they're also charging people over $100 for like the game now, like if they have it.
Yeah, that's not how much it was to pre-order. Like it was more expensive than a regular Genesis game would have been. It was like what, $70 or $80 or something. But they were like, to recoup our losses, we're gonna charge exorbitant prices for the game, so no one's gonna want to buy it. It's like, all right, good job.
DM is for VR suckers. Just a call would be fine. I'm just like reading some of the shit that they're...
The guy's French, so like I'm sure there's a little bit lost in translation. But like,
I mean, Fakafon's French. You can't blame it on that.
Well, Fakafon speaks French, but like this guy, I think like there's something lost in translation, and also he's just rambling anyway, so it's doubly difficult.
I think he has like issues. I'm not gonna point to what, but like I think he just has fucking issues. You know what I mean? Like
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He just sounds very unstable, and like the people working with him like hated it too. So I mean, it's just one of those things.
Well, that's the thing. Like if you look at like the composer for the game or the graphics person, like they're just keeping their mouth shut. It's like, I'm not touching this.
I mean, and he named himself after a character who jumped over a shark.
Wait, did he?
His name is Fonzie.
Yeah. Who jumped over a shark and then decades later lightly hopped over a shark.
He ski jumped over a shark while wearing a leather jacket in the ocean.
What a badass.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know who wears their leather while
someone who is the coolest. Excuse me.
Sounds like somebody who wants to drown. Anyway, yeah. Also, this is just kind of a reminder, but like fucking amped. No More Heroes 3 is coming out very shortly on Friday, I believe.
Can't wait until God knows whenever I get the game and I Switch.
But I'm fucking amped. I mean, this is actually the fourth No More Heroes game. They had like a brief spin-off.
Travis Strikes Again.
Yeah, but this will be a full-fledged sequel. So I am so excited because like the the
trailer
was
amazing.
The trailer is one of the best like teaser trailers I've ever seen in my life. And if it goes with tradition, that'll be part of the story, but might not actually like be like the introduction in the game when you turn.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah. Do you remember the trailer for the original No More Heroes?
Yeah, with Helter Skelter.
With Helter Skelter, and then like that's glossed over real quick in the opening cutscene. Like, I fought this guy at one point, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just not in the game for real.
Like the advertisements are canon, which is like really awesome. Like they're it's like watching like a trailer for a movie and having like the trailer to the movie be actually the real first part of the movie, and then not actually showing it. Which is actually really fun. But Fakafon, do you have any experience with No More Heroes?
Very little. I've seen the game a bit. I've seen the huge bike you drive, and that's about it.
Yeah, they some of the art that goes along with it has like Travis walking to his bike like Akira style. Like in the same exact like fashion.
Yeah. By the way, No More Heroes 1 is swimming in Killer 7 references.
Yeah. In fact, I think more and more as we go along, I think there's going to be more of a Sudaverse or a Grasshopperverse, because I think he's starting to more concretely. He's always made little references to his games and other stuff, but I think
we have Silver Case and Flower, Sun, and Rain, but then we have like Killer 7 referenced, like I think it was like Moonlight Syndrome and shit like that.
Also, Master Smith is kind of obliquely referenced in No More Heroes.
Well, like I said, No More Heroes is just drowning in Killer 7 references, so that's hardly a surprise. But there's also the Love of Wrestling, which is not a reference to specifically Fire Pro Wrestling, but Suda 51 loves his wrestling.
Yeah, and didn't he add like a new connection via Killer 7, like the newer version of Killer 7?
No. You've mentioned that before. No. I think possibly in Travis Strikes Again, though.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Because I was so excited to play the HD re-release of Killer 7, but like it's widescreen, it's cleaned up, it has some hotkeys for transforming, which is very nice. You don't have to menu as much. It has mouse look, which like breaks the game, but otherwise it's the original experience. Not even achievements.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, I'm just excited because like he's my Quentin Tarantino of video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything he comes out with, even if it's like
super stylized.
Anything that he comes up with, even if it's not like the best thing he's ever come up with, I still like it better than the average video game experience, just because it's always weird and fun and offbeat. And I can't wait to see which boss characters are like total like a bait and switch. That's you go through the progression and you find out, oh, I'm not actually really fighting this, or like.
By the way, one cute little thing to point out that I got a kick out of is now that The Suicide Squad is out, James Gunn had tweeted out like there was a scene where Harley Quinn fights a bunch of guys in a hallway or something, and apparently some of the choreography for that was inspired by Juliet from Lollipop Chainsaw, which James Gunn himself had worked on, so he gave Suda 51 a shout out.
Yeah, he wrote it with Suda 51.
James Gunn worked on Lollipop Chainsaw.
Awesome stuff. And that scene is probably one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, so surprise shout out to Suda 51 after like a giant AAA blockbuster movie.
Is that the one with like the flowers movie everywhere, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. She basically, it kind of reveals that like you're kind of like on the edge of her psyche, like you're viewing kind of the way she feels as she's doing it, like her gleeful like warped reality that has like Snow White birds and shit like floating around in her while she's murdering people. It's a fantastic, and it's a good fight scene to begin with. Like, it's really well controlled and choreographed, especially with the cinematography. And it's just like, even without like the special effects, it would have been really neat. But like, adding that on top of it made it something like really special.
It's also very video gamey because the guys have guns, but they just come into frame to get beat up, you know.
Yeah. Very almost a little what was that movie? Oh man!
Every 80s movie ever made where guys just wait their turn.
Well, I was thinking of that movie where the guy is like imprisoned and he doesn't know why for like 20 years.
Oh, Old Boy, the hallway.
Old Boy, yeah.
Where he just like fucking destroys like 13 guys with a hammer.
Yeah, he's just been like for like 15 or 20 years. I think it's 15 years.
It's been a very long time.
He's straight up just been working out and training, like, because that's all he's got. So,
and he finally makes it to the end of the hallway after taking everybody out. Elevator opens, a bunch more guys. Camera cuts, all those guys are just down. We didn't even see it. It's like, oh, Jesus.
The most badass things happen off screen. It's just, it happened in Mad Max Fury Road, and, it happened in The Simpsons when that little guy just, like, beat everybody the fuck up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I missed it. Oh.
Mark, he's about to do something great.
Yeah. You just know he's going to be really big. He's just waiting for it.
Next thing is Sega just announced what classic games they're going to include with Lost Judgment, because the Ryoga Kotoka games always have some kind of like old emulated cool thing in it.
Yeah, I think ever since Yakuza 3, even Yakuza 2 had a unique playable game in the arcade. I don't know if Yakuza 1 did, but
I don't remember, but I don't think so.
Yeah, Yakuza 2 had some first-person fighting game, like a unique thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was it? Yakuza 3 has Baxilios?
You're goddamn right. And Yakuza 4 has Baxilios 2.
That's awesome. But they've had a kind of like a cool tradition of putting in like things like Virtual On has been in there, Virtua Fighter 2.
Yeah, Virtual On was once. Virtua Fighter 2's been a couple times. That was in the more recent Yakuza games, like 5, I want to say. Virtua Fighter 5 has been available for a couple as well. Final Showdown.
Yeah, and Virtua Fighter. The first Judgment game had a really cool surprise in that it was a game that hadn't been ever ported to anything ever.
Not that I'm aware of. There's a chance, but yeah, it was some motorcycle racing game, but like it was a weird futuristic style. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, but I was happy that it was included, because like how else are you going to be able to play this game? Like a lot of Sega's like arcade games from that era never got ported even to the Saturn or anything. So it was cool to see that. But this is kind of cool. But I'm a little disappointed.
It was Motor Raid.
Oh, Motor Raid.
And
yeah.
I completely forgot this, by the way, but Judgment had Fighting Vipers.
Oh, did
cool.
it? The arcade version? That's pretty cool.
I totally forgot that. And then, like, Yakuza games forever have had, like, since, like, 0, have had Space Harrier, Fantasy Zone. Judgments did not have Hang On, but a lot of other Yakuza games did.
Yeah.
Just, they love but they love Space Harrier, Fantasy Zone, and Hang On, and Outrun. Judgment didn't have Outrun either, but that's alright, I've seen enough of Outrun.
As
long as Pepsi Man is in there, I'm fine with it.
And Fighting... That's actually that's an interesting question, because it is a Japanese game. I doubt it.
Yeah, I seriously don't think
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so. But was Afterburner ever included, Lotus?
Ooh.
Because I would think it would.
I don't know. The only time I remember playing Afterburner was, like, Shenmue 2. It might have been Afterburner 1 or 2 or something.
Gotcha. Well, I do know this, that the Fist of the North Star one had the Fist of the North Star game for Sega Master System, so that was...
Yeah, that was the first time I think we've gotten a straight-up Master System game via a Yakuza title. Like, in the West, it was called Black Belt, but it was a reskin of a Fist of the North Star game. Yeah, so technically, that was the first time we ever got it as the Fist of the North Star game.
And I think in Europe it also like underwent another change, but I can't remember what it was called though.
Huh.
Well, in Lost Judgment, they're going with that tradition, and they're putting in a bunch of Sega Master System games.
Yeah, 8 of them, and like who knows what other games they have, but these are Master System stuff.
This is also, I should also add, this is after the tradition of kind of doing this thing in Shenmue. Shenmue also had stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mentioned Afterburner, but like, yeah, Shenmue I think was the first to have Arcade Perfect Space Harrier.
Yeah, Space Harrier, yeah. Lost Judgment will have Alex Kidd in Miracle World, which is, like the Mario game for that system. The Master System version of Fantasy Zone, which is pretty decent for but
and then as I will say, as sick as I am of seeing Fantasy Zone, it's a good game, but like enough. But it's always been the arcade game. This will be the Master System version.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a change. Penguin Land, which is actually a really fun game. I actually really like Penguin Land. It kind of has like a puzzle platformer edge to it. Quartet, which is oddly named because you can only play as 2 characters. But there is a reason for it. It was called Quartet for the arcade version, so there were 4 characters in that.
Oh, okay.
And 4 playable characters. But
would have been weird to rename it to like Duo.
But that one's pretty fun. It's like a run and gun. Enduro Racer, which is actually really fun. I actually like that version of Enduro Racer. In the arcade, it kind of was like Hang On. It, like behind the motorcycle kind of game. But this one is overhead and isometric, and it's also a lot of fun. I thought that was good. Woody Pop, which is similar to Arkanoid. It's a bat and ball game. Maze Hunter 3D, which I'm surprised about. Just pretty slow, but kind of fun. It's an interesting game to show off the 3D capabilities of the Sega Master System at the time, but I don't know what they're going to do with that on Lost Judgment. I guess just have a straight-up port.
What I'm wondering, though, is, like, why would these be in the arcade? So I'm guessing at some point you just get a Sega Mark III and just play with it. Because, like, why else are you playing these games?
Yeah, no, I think that's the conceit, is maybe he has it as, like, apartment or something.
Yeah, because it's like Shenmue. You just have a Saturn in your house.
Yeah, exactly. And then Secret Command, which is kind of similar to Commando. Like, it's the Japanese version of Rambo First Blood Part 2. So it's like Ikare Warriors.
Oh, okay.
For the Sega Master System. So, like, overhead kind of game. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Lost Judgment, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I loved the first game, so I am super excited for the second one.
Yeah, even the sneaking around part, did you like those?
Not so much, but that game's freaking brilliant.
That's funny. All right, and this is another one of yours, Lotus. Man, you almost had the whole freaking show.
Yeah, I mean, I can only mention this for a second because I didn't look too terribly much into it, but there was a Metal Gear Solid phone game that apparently has been recovered and made playable via some kind of emulator. So this was I think this was like a lost Metal Gear Solid title because mobile games are very transient, but this one seems to have been recovered. So like that's just on principle. That's amazing. Like there's a secret Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah, cool. And I think it's one of those later. It's a later phone game. It's not even like a Java one like that are easily emulatable. They're like hard to emulate, like iPhone kind of games. So,
okay, yeah.
Like it has 3D graphics. It's pretty cool. That they're able to do this. I mean. The sad part is, like, the vast majority of mobile games will be lost to time. It's going to be kind of like black and white films. Like, I don't know if, like, a lot of people know this, but, like, especially silent films, I think something like 95% of them are lost.
Yeah, because, like, you play them in the theaters, you get your money. Okay, good. That's the film. Like, throw it away. We don't need it anymore.
Well, it's not even that. It's more like when talkies came about, like with sound films, they just destroyed them because they were like, why would anybody want to fucking watch this? So
little did they know.
Well, no, I mean, like they had no sense. They were like, okay, well, you have to store this somewhere, and we don't have the place to store them, and who the fuck wants to watch them? Even though, like, they could have some really awesome, groundbreaking shit in it, but. we only the well-known ones that we have are like because people back then were like, no, this is too important to throw away. Metropolis or Charlie Chaplin films.
Buster Keaton,
yeah, Buster Keaton stuff. But there's billions, millions of like all kinds of stuff back then, and they didn't even have like the Hays Code or anything. So there's all kinds of racy stuff that you wouldn't expect from like old timey crap.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, so like they could put drugs and sex and all kinds of stuff in those movies, and it was part of the show,
Yeah.
So, yeah, they didn't get uptight until what the late 40s. So yeah, it's really a shame that mobile games are going to be like that. I mean, we're gonna have people's like first games that they made. They'll be like, oh yeah, well, I'm famous now for making X, Y, and Z, but and everybody knows those, but they can't play my original title that I came out with, which was just like a small iPhone game.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be lost to time.
Yeah.
It's really a shame. It's hard enough to to archive games on consoles, even with the amount of things that come out these days on digital, but mobile, you don't have a chance because anybody or anywhere can make something and even just take it down the next day. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Before we move on, can I mention another thing about Metal Gear Solid?
Oh, please.
So this, I think it was discovered maybe like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. A streamer was playing the Metal Gear Solid game, the first one on PlayStation. Sure. And this is pretty cool for speedrunning, because by accident what happened is like they tried to go through a door. Like, when you're running around in the tower and there's a lot of dude like pursuing you and you have to go all the way to the top?
Oh yeah, that's one of the few mandatory alarm sections in the game.
Yeah, this one. So when she got close to a door, like an enemy actually, like she got shot by an enemy while facing them, and she recoiled through the door and skipped that entire segment.
Oh shit!
Which was a thing that no one had discovered until then.
Oh yeah,
that's great because it's a long and obnoxious segment.
It is. So yeah, that was really cool.
And she like busted out into song and like started singing about how fun it was.
Yeah,
it was just
I
cool.
forget her name. I think it was like Boba, I think was the name. I don't know. I should have looked this up. But yeah, that was really cool when I saw that.
That's good stuff.
It was really adorable too. I really enjoyed that that clip that I watched of it. It was fun. Moving on from that, I think we have some Jojo news.
Yeah, this is significant. Jojo Part 8 has concluded.
Oh.
It's finally ended. So I had heard, I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I had heard that Araki had wanted to make 9 parts in Jojo overall. And the next part's going to be called, at least the working title, is Jojo Land. So, like, I don't know, we're getting there. But Part 8, though, oh man. Like, to put something in context, Jojo, the entire existence, has been around for 34 years. It came out in 1987. Jojo Part 8 has been around for 10 of those years.
It's like by far the longest part, right?
I don't know about the longest part, but it's been released for by far the longest time. It is nearly 1/3 of the entire series. It's been going on, like, in terms of how long it's been being released. Like, they had Josuke from Part 8 as a playable character, like, on the PlayStation 3 game, All-Star Battle. Like, it's been a long time. But it has finally reached a conclusion, and the last couple of chapters had very interesting connective tissue that got my attention, and it ended on, I thought, an interesting note. So I'm curious to see if Part 9 is going to be any kind of follow-up of Part 8 or what. But at long last, since, like, just after we graduated from college, Part 8's been around, and it has finally reached its conclusion.
Man,
so,
I need to catch up. I'm still in Part 4, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
My neighbor she's getting into like exploring like some of the older anime, and she's just like, do you know anything about One Piece? And I was just like, oh man, you are just starting One Piece.
Don't watch it, read it. It's fucking 980 something episodes right now.
Yeah.
Like you're not watching all that shit. Just fucking like, I mean, I watch it because I got on it when like it only had like 200 episodes, but like you're not gonna watch all of it now.
Yeah, seriously.
Read the manga and look up key moments in the anime and watch those.
Yeah, what's cool is like the Shonen Jump app is like literally $2 a month. Like if you want it for like a tablet, and it has every chapter of One Piece up until now. Like that is the way to read it. Like if you don't want to, like an entire bookshelf full of One Piece, like that is the way to do it.
An entire bookshelf? You're sure being conservative. Like even Jojo is taking on more than a bookshelf.
But you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
I have an entire bookshelf that is basically just Berserk and Gantz.
Yeah, Jojo's taking up a bunch of mine as well.
Yeah. So like I kind of like, for as much as I love it, I don't know whether I want to put that all on a bookshelf. Like I kind of need to put it in a box somewhere. Because like it's taking up real estate of like variety. You know, like I could have stuff that is not, Berserk. So, but as much as I love it, but yeah. And anything else before we move on to the bummer shit?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so we have 3 pretty darn high-profile deaths this week. Very, very sadly. So, with the first one up is R.I.P. Maki Kaji, who is not the inventor but popularizer of Sudoku. That's a pretty big deal, especially in terms of like, how many times do we actually know the somebody who popularized like a thing that's in every freaking newspaper that you can think of.
Right.
Who made the crossword puzzle? Nobody knows, but like we know the guy who actually like was like, no, this is a cool thing, we should be doing it. But it's pretty awesome what he did, and it took over. Like everybody was doing Sudoku at one point. It was like a big fad. It was like a big thing. My personal favorite pen and paper puzzle like that is I really like a Picross or pictogram, I think is what it's called, or pictograph. I think is what it's called. Picross is like the licensed term, I guess.
It's like calling something a Xerox instead of a copy.
Exactly, exactly. But I love Picross. I think it's a lot of fun. But I do like a good Sudoku puzzle every once in a while. So.
I'm more of a crossword or like the jumble kind of person.
I'm more of the guy who does the 2 pictures and they have 7 differences.
Oh, sure.
Which one's different?
This one. That one's the same.
But, I mean, crossword puzzles, to me, are infuriating because the clues are intentionally obtuse. So, I don't know.
Once you learn, like...
the logic.
Once you learn, like, the clue maker's style, you kind of pick up patterns.
Yeah, but I don't know. Some of them are just like, what are you even fucking talking about? Like,
I will say my local paper's weekday stuff, I like have a decent chance of completing, but like Sunday New York Times is like impenetrable.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, they're known for it, right? The New York Times is like world renowned for their crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things. But and then the second R.I.P. here is we have Masami Suda, who worked on Hokuto no Ken, the TV show, the anime, as one of the character designers and artists. He was part of Toei Animation. So that's pretty sad too.
Yeah, a very iconic series for its time, and though we're not exactly going all in on Fist of the North Star now, material for it is still being made today, and even the manga is getting a resurgence in the West. It's getting a re-release.
Oh. Yeah. You can. I believe the second volume is coming out next month, which is great because it's never gotten its due here in manga form. So
yeah, we got the anime series. We got that, but the manga we never officially finished localizing the manga over in the West. Although we did get. I don't know, we got 1 or 2 video games ever, but we did get Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, the Yakuza game, probably only because it's a Yakuza game. But the last time we saw a proper Fist of the North Star game was on the NES?
Well, no,
there's been a bunch more games, but they've been Japanese.
Well, no, we've gotten the Warriors game, the Musou games.
You're right. Yeah. We got 2 Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage games on PS3 and 360. You're right.
But yeah, officially licensed as Fist of the North Star, we had a Game Boy, really bad Game Boy fighting game, and a single NES game. There were a bunch of and it was awful.
Yeah, there was stuff we got fudged, like the aforementioned Black Belt for Master System or Last Battle for Genesis.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a Genesis one.
It's a Fist of the North Star game, but we fudged it, so it's not called that. But there was a proper PS1 game that covers the anime story, which America never got. There's the Arc System Works fighting game, like the Guilty Gear people. They made a Fist of the North Star fighting game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Punch Mania.
Yeah, Japan only. The arcade game?
Yep.
I forgot about that. Yeah, where you actually punch the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Arc System Works game is pretty rad. It's just broken. There's infinite combos.
It's just fun though.
Yeah. But it's a very stylish, fun game, and the insta kills are fantastic.
Yeah, I think kind of like Jojo. Like Jojo's finally getting its due here in the West, and Fist of the North Star is too. Hopefully, Fist of the Blue Sky also comes along with it.
I keep forgetting about that.
Liked it. Yeah, I really liked what I read of Fist of the Blue Sky. I read a couple volumes of that made it officially to English, and it's basically it's Kentaro. It's Kentaro or Ken's.
Kenshiro.
Kenshiro. I'm sorry. It's Kenshiro's uncle in Shanghai, I think it is.
Who looks precisely like him.
It's just him.
Well, it's like Yakuza Ishin, where you play as Kiryu and Majima's ancestors, but they're the spitting image. What a coincidence.
Yeah, and have exactly the same fucking personality.
Yeah, Majima's ancestors also missing an eye. Wow, what are the odds?
Yeah, but this one was funny. It's fun because it's pre-apocalypse, so
it's not Mad Max.
Yeah, so he's just going around town beating people the hell up, and my absolute favorite one is he's just trying to eat a fucking bowl of noodles, and people just keep hassling him, and he just ends up killing the entire town because they're all he's just somebody knocks into him and he spills his noodles, and he's just all right, and and he's just I was eating my noodles, and just beats the shit out of them all. It's really great.
That man loves his noodles.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I absolutely recommend it. But the final one that we have to announce, I'm very sad about because I personally really loved his work. But Sonny Chiba has passed away at the age of 80. Good long life, but geez, he was an icon for sure. He most Westerners know him from the Kill Bill movie, the first Kill Bill movie. He is the maker, Hattori Hanzo. He's the maker of the swords, and he has that extended conversation with Uma Thurman.
Very good.
He's the sushi chef. Yeah,
he's the guy who just keeps yelling at his assistant. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but he's well known because back in the the 70s, martial arts movies were really popular, but most of the really big popular ones were Chinese ones, and always kind of have been that way. A lot of them have been Hong Kong films, like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee made American movies, eventually, but it was that stuff has always been really popular, and all the directors and all that cool stuff coming out of there, but very few of them actually were like karate movies like with that came out of Japan. And Sonny Chiba was a black belt in I think something like 7 disciplines of karate.
Jesus,
holy crap!
And like the highest level in judo specifically. So yeah, he was like a freaking monster. He was not just an actor. He was a freaking martial artist, like a really insane martial artist. So kendo. He was first dan in kendo and second dan in judo. So yeah, he was a monster. And he was a really fun actor. He had a great personality. His most well-known martial arts film was The Street Fighter, and no relation to the video game story.
Yeah, the guy who fights in the streets.
Yeah. But it has since become it was like one of the most iconic martial arts films of the day, and that's why he's in Kill Bill, is because Quentin Tarantino for sure watched this when he was a kid. Back in the 70s.
You sure he just didn't play Sega Genesis as a kid?
Yeah, so Lotus is referring to the fact that his eyes specifically were digitized to be Shinobi's eyes in Return of Shinobi.
Yeah, like on the title screen where he's staring at you with that fierce look. Like, yeah, that's an
unlicensed,
a permissionless, unlicensed use of Sonny Chiba's eyes.
Yeah, and so much so that they had to fix it in digital releases in the future.
Well, what's really funny is, didn't they recently release something where they got permission to use his eyes?
No, Yuzo Koshiro put his own eyes.
That's what it was. All right.
That's the funny thing. Yuzo Koshiro is like, okay, I'll use my eyes.
That's great.
Yuzo Koshiro, I think, made the music for that, and I think he might have even done some of the programming on the game. I'm more and more learning that Yuzo Koshiro didn't just make the music for a lot of these games. He actually programmed them too.
Oh.
Any of the games made by Ancient were made by his family's company. So it's him, his sister, and his brother made all those games. Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage 3 were made by Ancient. So anyway, Sonny Chiba was in The Street Fighter, and it became a sensation because it was one of the most violent movies up to date when it came out. Really shocking for a martial arts film. Most martial arts films out of Hong Kong aren't exceedingly violent. They're not bloody. They just have people hitting each other, but they don't have dismemberment or anything like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say even when there is blood, there's some, if a guy gets stabbed in the back and dies, and it's for the drama of the scene. It's not casual horrific violence.
Yeah, it's never extremely explicit, but the Street Fighter was basically an exploitation film. It had nudity. It had it is famous for the shot where he hits somebody in the head, and then it goes full X-ray to a skull just being caved in.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat 9 X-ray shot.
Yeah, that it was originated in that film.
It's funny because I first saw that in the Jet Li movie Romeo Must Die, but perhaps even that took inspiration, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also very famous for the Johnny Cage thing too. He straight up grabs the villain by the nuts and rips them off. In a
that's not Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage was from Bloodsport, and I know that Van Damme is Johnny Cage, but the splits and punching a guy in the nuts is from Bloodsport.
Oh, okay. Well, you corrected me.
Yeah, but it was a sumo wrestler, because it's the sumo wrestler can't catch me, and I can hit him for a week, but I can't hurt him because he's a fucking 10,000-pound sumo wrestler. So what do I do?
Yeah, fair enough.
That'll work.
But that scene in Street Fighter, he straight up rips his balls off.
Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
And spits on them and then throws them on the ground.
I've never heard of ripping a guy's balls off except for Sin City.
Yeah.
Where it happens fucking twice.
Yeah.
The same guy.
It's amazing.
Fucking sucks.
I think the first time he shoots him, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're right. He shoots him the first time. Yeah. But still, that guy lost his dick fucking twice. It's terrible.
Well, he deserved it.
He did deserve it.
He absolutely did. Yeah, he absolutely did.
He had it coming, but still, damn.
That yellow bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, But yeah, you ever read the comic book version of that? Oh man.
No, I have not.
Oh man, it's been forever. I don't remember it.
Yeah, no, it's brutal. But the movie's a good adaptation. But anyway, yeah, it's just like that movie was just iconic because the level of violence was unlike basically anything you'd ever really see, or even around that time. So it was really good, and it's a really fun movie to go back to because he really chews up the screen. Like he really commands the screen with his presence. So that spun off 2 sequels that were made later that year. Because in Japan they just fucking crank out movies like it's nothing. Mike puts out
I was gonna say Takashi Miike. He's like
year.
The Roger Corman of Japan. It's like every 5 minutes he makes a movie.
Yeah, exactly. But and they also cranked out, I think that same year, a spin-off as well called The Sister Street Fighter, where he's in it and then he's fighting alongside a woman that also has 2 sequels to it. So there's 6 movies.
Goddamn. The lore
there's 6
deep.
movies in that series. Yeah, and so and I think they all came out in the span of 2 or 3 years, which is really
insane.
Really amazing. So yeah, I think they're all available on YouTube because they weren't copywritten properly when they brought over back in the 70s. So I think they fell into public domain by accident. Kind of like Night of the Living Dead. You'd think the most iconic zombie movie of all time, which is not that old, by the way. It was made in black and white by choice, not because it was the only thing available. It was well into color when that was made, but they made it in black and white for first of all to be iconic and also because it was cheaper film stock.
Well, yeah, it's like Clerks. Kevin Smith could only afford a black and white camera when he made Clerks. It wasn't an artistic decision.
Yeah. But Night of the Living Dead was not copywritten properly when it was released, so it fell into the public domain. So you could watch it on YouTube, no problem. Same thing with Street Fighter. The companies that released these exploitation films and imports and all that stuff back in the 70s, all were run by chain smoking crazy people. And just put out droves of stuff and then went out of business. This was one of those things. So, but there are some nice releases of them. So I definitely recommend if you want to just get a good experience, without, they've restored the movie so you don't have to have dubbing in it. All those movies from back then have dubbing. So
yeah.
This is you can find the original undubbed subtitled version of the movie. I think a couple companies make really good sets of Blu-rays that are available readily. Just go ahead. I think Shout Factory makes them, which is really cool. But yeah, go for it because he was in some good stuff. He was also in an adaptation, a film adaptation of Golgo 13, which I don't know if you guys knew that about. He was Golgo 13 in it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Duke Togo. Duke Togo. But yeah, he was in a few interesting stuff. I think he was in a Lupin the Third movie too, in a live action Lupin the Third movie.
The newest one?
No.
That's unlikely.
No, it was from the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he was in loads of stuff. If you look at his filmography, he was in 5 movies a year. He's just a fucking champ. But yeah, definitely R.I.P. A fucking legend.
It's crazy to think that in Japan they would just crank out these movies like crazy, but I think martial arts movies in Hong Kong was the complete opposite. They would put a lot of budget and put a lot of time until it was perfect. They were okay, this is ready to be released.
Well, yeah. If you watch, Jackie Chan was really good at even documenting the process of making the films. So he painstakingly made everything he put out. Everything was very deliberate. They they put in money, like, hey, we're going to sell this all across the world, even when they were like first beginning to do that kind of thing. Like Police Story 1 and 2, they're like, the sets on those movies are fucking nuts. Like there's one where they like the beginning of I think Police Story 2, they destroy a whole fucking shanty town with a car. It's like it's really amazing what they did. It's really good stuff. Anyway, anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen?
Nope.
No, I think I'm good.
All right, that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. We'll actually be going over our personal D&D experiences. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just DM me and let me know.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, like my 150th Let's Play, Valkyria Chronicles, coming up soon, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found on patreon.com/LotusPrince.
150 Let's Play, that's crazy. You guys are my 5-star ratings, guys.
Hey!
And yeah, you can find my webcomic at Kajula.com, and on Patreon it's also Kajula.
Yeah,
and you
it's
can
back
follow
up,
me...
right?
Huh?
It's back up right now, right?
Yes, finally. It took a few weeks, but it's finally back up and running. I'm glad.
Yeah, what had happened?
I'll get into it later. It's just something stupid.
Gotcha.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Lou Fakafon.
All right. Well, we will catch everybody on Thursday then, and get you out your D20, and hopefully we'll get there naturally.
Until next time, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody.